Hello, HWE 1050. It is Tuesday, June 10th. Welcome to week 3 of the class. We are delving into chapter 5, lipids. So our second macronutrient for the course. I hope you enjoyed chapter 4, in which we looked at carbohydrates. And perhaps learned something about the different types of carbohydrates that we have. So looking at our monosaccharides and our disaccharides and our polysaccharides and what that means in terms of perhaps the way we process them and the way they're digested. Then how that translates into food that you're eating. So the actual food that you eat and how that makes a difference with what you choose. So perhaps looking at whole foods versus, say, more of a processed food, or that with a simple sugar in it. So we can also look at it from the perspective of having a simple sugar, a monosaccharide, but that could come from fruit, or that could come from, say, your sucker that you eat or something like that, or a piece of candy or some Skittles. So there is a difference. The way our body determines how to utilize that is interesting, as well as the digestion piece of carbohydrates. So in the end, it all turns into glucose anyways. So that's something to keep in mind as well. But perhaps the complexity of that carbohydrate is what really it boils down to. So thank you for the great discussions. And a note on discussions before I move on to my next message. So this second week, I have tried to provide you with a bit of feedback individually to let you know if you didn't get 10 points, why you did not. And I'll just kind of boil it down into several instances that apply to, I'd say, 99% of you. So if your initial post is not made by Friday of the week, you will get docked points. And the further that goes on, the more points that are docked. You get docked if your initial post is not 200 words. So it has to be a minimum of 200 words. And then lastly, if you haven't posted 2 peer responses, so posted 2 replies back to your classmates, to those peers, just creating some conversation and discussion on their post. So those are the ways in which you would lose points if you don't do any of those things. So if you have lost points, look back and see maybe what happened. And hopefully I provided you with feedback so you know, so you don't continue making the same mistake. But if you do have a question about your score, always email me. That being said, I kind of want to keep this short. I'm hoping that the soft chalk lessons are available to most of you. I've had maybe 1 or 2 more complaints in which you're not accessing them or able to access them. One note that I will provide with that is a soft chalk lesson does not like Safari. So never use Safari as your browser. In fact, My Courses doesn't do well. Connect doesn't do well. Nothing does really well with Safari. So if you can use a different browser, Chrome usually is fine. Firefox is fine. That sometimes helps. Okay, secondly, clear your cache and clear your cookies. If you can't get it to work, sometimes that will help. Otherwise, I think the majority of people are able to get in to do the soft chalk lessons. Recapping again, I don't want to make this so long of a video, but you may take unlimited attempts with the soft chalk lesson. So if you don't get 10 points, you can go in and take it and take it and take it. If you're fine with an 80 and want to get on to the quiz, you can do that. But if you would like 100%, you can keep taking it. Lastly, I am going to jump into grading your first homework set. So the first homework set utilized NutriCalc. So hopefully you all kind of have a better understanding of that software now. If you still haven't gotten into NutriCalc or haven't gotten into the book, we really need to talk. So I really need to set up a time to Zoom with you if you're struggling with that. So please reach out to me. We can have a Zoom call and we can do that. I may even set up a group Zoom call in which I'm just on and people can come drop in, somewhat like an office hour, because we have to get this hashed out before we continue on with this summer semester. So I'm going to stop for now. I hope you have a lovely Tuesday. I hope this week is smoother than the first two have been, and you're kind of getting in a little groove of how things are going. Okay, take care, and we'll talk soon.